Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. It has been said that time destroys everything, that you can take one beautiful red apple, and after a while it becomes shriveled and full of worms, just like what happens to us. Our campaign is Horror on the Orient Express, and this is episode 66. I am your game master, and Jeff Wilkins will be giving the recap. Well, I'm ready. The players are ready. Let's begin our journey into the darkness. Jeff.
Thanks, Tom. Our last episode started with our investigators checking back in on Rupert to see how he's doing, having recently lost an eye to a strange attack from a bunch of severed hands. Dr. Dawkins is making an attempt to restore Rupert's eye with the Mim Sahis, but there's some sort of magical force that is preventing him from doing so. Rupert is still able to see through his eye, we assume, which is currently in the head of another human. Rupert tells us he sees a bunch of mountaintops and also a cave where the cultists are gathering. The police officer named Christova is still with us, and he thinks he recognizes the mountain range and knows about the talk of caves so that he can lead us there. Christova is just as anxious to capture this cult that he calls the Butchers. Christova also calls in about 5 or so other officers whom he trusts to provide extra muscle and backup. We have also taken a moment to finally test a theory on the statue pieces we've collected so far. Dr. Dawkins uses the Mim Sahis to try and find a seam on this torso part, but in so doing, he deeply cuts his own side open. He's able to repair the damage, though, again, using the Mim's knife. But we determine that if someone is going to attempt to damage the statue piece, it will also transfer the pain or the wound to our own bodies. Next, we venture to the cave. Once inside, we see primitive cave paintings, although nothing really sinister. It smells like sulfur in here, and it's clear that there's some sort of geothermal events in the cave. We have stationed Rupert outside and the machine guns to cover the exit should the occultists escape. After navigating the tunnels for a bit, we saw a trail of blood on the floor and followed it. We eventually came to a large opening or cavern, and there are multiple bodies laying about on the floor, many of them decapitated. In the center of the room is a large pile of human heads and skulls. There's something on top. Frank attempts to climb it to get to the object at the top, but he slips. The gore is horrendous, and Frank loses his breakfast. Dr. Keith manages to throw a rock at the top piece, knocks it off onto the other side. Upon walking around that pile of skulls, it's actually a purple pillow. There's also a body laying on the floor that is very mutilated. The skull is smashed. There's another unusual thing here. There doesn't appear to be as much blood around as one would expect. There's a crevice on the floor. It's not very big or deep. Dr. Dawkins is brave enough to reach down into the crevice to see what's down there. Dr. Dawkins feels 3 things. One thing's smooth, and 2 other things feel papery and are small and light. He pulls the 2 smaller things out first, and they turn out to be heads of garlic. Eldritch reacts by doing the sign of the cross. Sure enough, the other object is in fact the statue head of the Sedefkar. Almost immediately upon touching it, Dr. Dawkins suffers from a bad headache. And that brings us up to date.
He also cut open his cheek as he was reaching for it.
Yes. Was that was based off just him like reaching down into the crevice?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The second, it actually happened the moment that he touched it.
Did touching it cause the wound, or just the timing was?
The timing was he touched the Sedefkar's head, the Sedefkar simulacrum's head, and in that moment, he cut his cheek and got a blistering headache.
Okay.
So the curse begins. All right. So you're standing there by the crevice. Dr. Dawkins is kneeling down. He's just righted himself, and he's holding in his hand the head of the Sedefkar simulacrum. And as you are standing there staring at one another, you suddenly hear one of the cops behind you says, "Look over there." And you suddenly notice that standing over by the exit to this large room is a man. He's halfway in the shadows, and his arms just seem to hang lifelessly at his side. His head is bowed forward. But a moment later, he slowly raises his head up and his eyes are closed. And then he opens his eyes and they shine like red fire in his eyes. And you're pretty sure that he was lying on the ground a moment ago. Then one of the other cops says, "Oh, there's another one." And there's another one. And you begin to notice some of these dead bodies on the ground were not completely torn apart. And one by one, they each stand up, just in the shadows around you. And go ahead.
I immediately reach for the garlic that was set on the ground.
Okay. What do the rest of you do? You're all muted.
I think I'm instinctively reaching for my pistol that I'm not very good with.
All right.
I think I have my arms like kind of pulled back, like just about ready to dash.
Okay.
Kind of looking at the others like, are we running?
Well, there's no direction to run. You're kind of cornered. They're blocking the exit.
Oh.
A moment later passes, and all of a sudden, the one that's dead ahead of you gets a rather wicked-looking smile on his face. And in fact, you can see that his canines are quite pronounced. And a moment later, and these things begin moving predatory-like around, sizing you guys up.
Is there any of that garlic left?
Yeah, there should be one more on the floor. I've only picked up one.
I'm picking up the other one.
First
sign of those teeth, and I'm picking that other one up.
I'm
clutching it to my bosom.
I'm trying to, I guess, put away the headpiece of the simulacrum, and
Okay.
I'll draw my gun, and I'll actually have the knife in my hand as well.
Okay. By your best estimate, now the police are there with you, and I believe there were 6 cops, along with Kristova. Your best estimate is there are at least 13 of these once living cultists. They all definitely were once cultists, but they now look very much like what you think they look like. Their skin is pale, and they are sizing you up. A moment later, and they scatter in a lot of different directions. Some of them coming at you, some of them going for the cops, some of them climbing the walls and moving across the ceiling like spiders. At the last moment, you notice 2 of them attack one of the cops as he fires his gun, and the cop goes down, and they attack him like a pack of dogs. What do you do?
Oh.
I'm going to I'm going to fire at the two that are on top of the cop. I'm going to try to get them off the cop.
All right. You will have some of your own in just a moment. So go ahead and fire.
Wow. Either my gun jams or I shoot somebody. I shoot the cop by accident. I got 100.
Okay. We'll say your gun jams for a moment. Frank.
I'm literally kind of frozen in space. I don't know what to do.
Okay.
My gut's telling me to run, but you're telling me my exit is cut off, so I'm not quite sure what to do.
Well, then let's go ahead and roll a sanity roll.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Oh, I'm just having Frank roll the sanity roll.
Oh, sorry.
That is a fail.
Okay. 1d4. Elizabeth, what are you doing?
I am similarly just standing there with clove of garlic clutched to my bosom.
Okay.
And the gun held out for me.
Okay.
And just waiting to see what's going to happen, because I can see that they're vampires, and I've picked up a clove of garlic, which I know repels vampires, but I've no idea if that actually works or not.
Well, 3 of these vampires come at you. They are particularly gruesome looking. They've obviously been physically injured. But as physically injured as they looked when you first looked at them, they seem to be physically repairing themselves. And they come at you and they sort of form a little ring around you, like ring around the rosies. And they're hissing at you and laughing and threatening you with by leaping forward at you. But so far they haven't attacked. You feel like they're just toying with you at this point. Eldridge.
Is there wood nearby?
The only wood that might be in the room would be the torches that are lighting the room. The bases of them.
Are we carrying any torches?
No, you're carrying flashlights.
How far away is the nearest 2 torches?
Do a luck roll.
Oh, yay. What's my luck first? All right, let's see. Nope.
Okay, well, 10 and 15 feet. But as you move towards one of the vampires drops down from the ceiling between you and the fire and sort of lunges at you, but he doesn't attack you. He seems to be toying with you the way he's toying with Elizabeth.
Yeah, when he lunges, I hold the garlic out, and I begin quoting psalms in Russian.
Do a spot hidden roll.
Hidden. That is a pass. 53. It's not a hard though.
The creature moves like a cat. It's smooth and it's almost graceful. So you're not quite sure, but you're pretty sure that sort of ballet move that it did there was to avoid the garlic. Yeah,
that's essentially all. I'm holding it out, and I'm making the symbol of the cross as I move closer towards the. I'm making sure that it's not like they're not to my back, and if they are, I'm essentially just like making like an arc. I'm waving my hand around to make sure that I have essentially a shield, and I yell to because I am a Christian. So I yell to my compatriots, do any of you believe in Christ? I know my vampire lore.
I think they're all
Not
met with silence.
Not particularly.
I have I actually put that on my sheet. I'm saying not very religious, but believes in the afterlife. So I'm going to say yes. But like, I don't go to church every Sunday.
Well, any of you that have accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior, hold out a cross.
I don't have a cross.
Yeah.
Yeah. See if that wards them off, because you have to be baptized with and then have a cross, and they'll back away.
There are at least 4 of them converging on Dr. Dawkins. Now, Dr. Dawkins, as you're standing there, facing these things coming at you, I'm going to ask you what you do in a moment. You notice a rather sharp pain in your hip, almost like something's burning you.
All right. I look down quickly.
You don't see anything, but there's definitely something burning you. But you're too in danger at the moment to worry about it too much.
Adrenaline is going through, so yeah.
Right. So these 4 are coming at you, and they don't look like they're going to just taunt you.
Okay. I will swing the knife at the one that's closest.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
No, that's a 91.
Okay, you swing at it, and it almost laughs at you, like it's not afraid. Of course, it doesn't know what you've got, actually. All right, the other 3 try to surround you, and one of them grabs for the pack where you've put the head. It definitely seems like that's what it's after.
Should I? So he's gonna. Is he grabbing for that, or is he trying to grab me?
Yeah,
well, I'm gonna try to do like a dodge. I'm trying to get it, out of his way.
He might try and swing you around. Maybe he's after you, but it sure feels like he's going straight for the bag where you put the head.
Okay. I'm still gonna try to dodge out of the way.
All right. He doesn't grab a hold of it.
Okay.
You pull out of his hand. All right. Frank.
I believe. Sorry.
By the way, at the same time this is happening, a couple of the cops have gone down, and the creatures are attacking. Christova is firing his gun. He's got a shotgun, and he's firing it at these things, and some of them have gone down. But to your horror, after a couple seconds, they get back up again. Their wounds seem to be healing themselves. Frank, there are a couple of them coming at you, and they're probably going to try to attack you this time.
Well, just a second ago, I was raising my shotgun, and then I saw that. So now I'm doing the finger cross.
Okay.
I'm going to move closer to Dr. Keith, too, with the garlic.
One of them reaches out and grabs a hold of your hand that's making this cross thing, and it doesn't seem to be affected at all. And it's starting to loom close, like it's going to bite you. And its moves are definitely carrying this idea that it wants you to be terrified before it kills you, just because it seems amused by the whole idea. And you also notice that these things aren't talking. They are making noise, but they're making grunts and squeaks and things like that, almost like animals.
Well, since I kind of had to put the shotgun down in order to go like that, I'm going to now reach in and grab my pistol.
Okay.
Try to shoot it.
I think that's going to take you around, and it's going to have the opportunity to try to push you to the ground and bite
Okay.
you.
Sure.
Dr. Elizabeth, what are you going to do?
Muted, sorry. Following Eldridge's lead, I'm going to start backing towards the torches on the wall.
Okay.
And if any of them get in my way, I'm holding it very tightly. I'm going to actively lunge at them with the garlic to see what happens.
Okay. Same thing for as I told Eldridge. They're graceful, but they're definitely trying to avoid the garlic. They seem to have an aversion to it, just like the old books say.
Okay. I wonder.
So you're moving back to the wall where the torches are.
Yes.
Okay. And these things are taunting you, trying to scare you. But it seems kind of childish almost the way they're doing it.
Just have a cunning idea.
Eldridge, what do you do? Did you want to tell me your cunning idea first?
Well, I'm not going to do it until I get back to the wall.
All right. So
I mean,
Eldridge.
I can tell you now if you want. But
No, well, you can do it when we get back to the wall. Eldridge.
All right. So have I made it to the wall?
Yes, you have.
Okay.
I'd also like you to do a spot hidden.
I will do a spot hidden just for you, Tommy boy. 4.
There's something that you notice, and it's just an observation, a keen eye. More of the vampires are going after Dr. Dawkins than anybody else in the room.
Oh.
They definitely want that head.
Okay. Well, let's see if this is going to work. So I take the garlic,
Okay.
and open my little breast pocket. I put it in there. And I'm going to grab the 2 torches, and I'm going to make an improvised cross.
Okay. Do a spot hidden.
And I'm going to keep my back. I'm going to keep my back also to the wall. 11.
Okay. 11?
Yeah.
They don't seem to be affected at all by the cross. They're afraid of the garlic in your
Damn
pocket.
it. All right. So I yell to them, "Oh God, the Bible's incorrect. The church is wrong."
I don't think the
Don't
Bible doesn't actually mention vampires.
They mention that demons are afraid of the symbol of Christ, but the Catholic Church, whatever. Anyways,
The symbol of Christ, the cross.
that's true.
Could be the Cairo.
Or what if he doesn't exist?
the fish.
That's
Maybe
true.
they're scared of fish.
I try and do the fish on the cars.
Yeah. Okay, waste your time doing that. They're coming after you. They're coming closer.
Okay.
Now, they do seem to be a little afraid of the fire.
That's good. Well,
All right, Dr. Dawkins. There are at least 6 of them trying to get to you at this point.
Again, I'm going to go for the closest one with the knife.
Okay, the pain in your hip, it's highly localized. It's right against your skin, right there, like where your pocket is. And go ahead and roll to see if you hit the one of them.
I got a 23 out of 25.
The Mem Sahis does 2d4 plus your strength.
You mean plus damage bonus?
Yeah. Your damage bonus, sorry.
is only 4.
Okay. But it's 4 points of damage that will not heal that creature. And it immediately screeches. And the other ones realize that that knife is kind of dangerous. So they give you a little leeway, but they're still trying to get to the bag on your back.
All right. So as they, does it cause them to sort of back up a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So then I'm going to sort of back step towards the wall, towards Eldritch and Dr. Elizabeth. But
Okay.
I have the knife out. Like, you guys want to get cut? Come closer if you want to get cut. I'll give you a shave and a haircut.
All right. Who are we back to? Frank? Frank. Christova has joined you. And he's still shooting at them. And it does damage, but it doesn't stay permanent. What is this? These are vampires.
The finger thing doesn't work. Can I use my pistol to try and get it away from me at all?
The thing that's in front of you? Sure, you could shoot it right in the chest if you want point blank.
Okay. Nope, miss.
I don't know how you can miss.
Unless point blank, do you want to give me a bonus for that or no?
Yeah, go ahead and roll again.
Not usually good at this, but hey, 10.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and do it some damage.
Oh, I should look what it is. Oh, yeah, 1d10. 6 points.
Yeah, it's D6. How much? 6 points?
6.
I'm sorry. I heard you say that, and I thought, oh, yes, it's 6 points. Roll the 6.
Oh, mine's a 38 revolver, 1d10.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, 6 points. Elizabeth.
Am I now backed against the wall?
Yes, you're now back against the wall.
Okay. In my pocket, I have a small pipe.
I'm sorry, you have a small what?
I have a small knife. A knife of reaming the pipe.
Okay.
And I would like to use that to extract 1 clove from the garlic, a single clove, which I'll just, using the time-honored method of index finger and thumb, I would like to rub the papery skin off of it.
Okay.
And then crush clove against the blunt-ended blade of the pipe knife. And I'm going to begin rubbing it on my face and my neck and the backs of my hands. And when I'm done, I'm going to try and find some way of getting that single clove over to Dr. Dawkins.
Okay.
So at the moment, I'm concentrating on just rubbing myself with garlic juice.
Now, some of the others probably can see you doing this. A head of garlic probably has a dozen cloves.
Yes.
So you've actually, and they usually break apart pretty simple, even without a knife. It actually, your head of garlic probably breaks into 3 pieces. So you're doing that with 1. And yeah, you might get an opportunity to toss some of it to one of the others.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'll take the precaution of putting the largest piece, similarly, in the breast pocket of my jacket.
Okay. And the creatures are trying to do things like get to, your foot or your. They're trying to taunt you by climbing up on the ceiling up over your head. But you've pretty much created a barrier that they're having difficulty getting around the garlic. All right. Who's next? I lost count. Sorry.
It's the creature's round now.
Okay. Well, the creatures are going to go for Dr. Dawkins first. And one of them manages to get a hold of your bag and pull. It's trying to get the bag away from you, and it sort of throws you off balance, but you're getting closer to the wall. A second one tries to swing its arm at you, but it misses. A third one does a similar move, but is completely they're afraid of the knife at this point. Frank, the one that's in front of you is going to attempt to sink its teeth into you. Okay. And what are you going to do? Are you going to try to...
I will try to dodge out of the way.
Okay. Go ahead.
No.
Okay. It forces its way. It's got a tremendous amount of strength, and its flaming red eyes are looking into yours as it bends over and bites you. It hurts. Let's see, Eldridge. They're attempting to get at you, but the garlic once again is somewhat protecting you. Dr. Dawkins, do a spot hidden for me.
Oh, I missed that.
Okay. Do an idea roll for me as well.
All right, I got that. 20 out of 80.
Okay. As you move backwards and you get to the wall, as you're sort of fighting these things off, you bump your hip against the wall, and when you do, the pain is intense. It's like somebody had a lit match in your pocket, and you get this wave of anger, adrenaline, and intense hatred for these things. And the second that happens, it sort of fades out, but it was definitely not something natural in your mind.
All right. So, since I'm getting closer to the wall, and I have a bit of space, I do, like, with my loose hand, tap the hip that's bothering me. He says right by a pocket, right?
Uh-huh. There is something in your pocket. You can feel it through the cloth. It's a lump.
I will take it out, whatever's in my pocket.
You have something wrapped in a handkerchief about the size, it's smaller than a fist, but it's been in there all this time. And it seems that there is almost a glow coming from inside the handkerchief, but it's all wrapped up.
All right. I'll unwrap it. I'm curious what it is.
When you do, you had forgotten that you had this from the Dreamlands.
I thought
that it had crossed over with you. When it is exposed, it shines with red light, and you are immediately, almost completely consumed by seething hatred for everybody in the room, but especially for these undead things. And the light shoots out of the jewel almost like knife blades, and when it hits these things, they screech in terror, and you can see that the light physically burns them like the sun would do.
I hold it up higher.
Okay. Do a power roll.
right. 56 out of 60.
Okay. It's almost unbearable, the pain of hatred that's in your heart right now. But it is doing some damage. All of the ones that are near you are being fried. And the rest of you can see this red light shooting out from Dr. Dawkins' upraised hands, and you're not quite sure where the hell it's coming from. But your vampires all seem to be distressed by it. Let's go back to Frank.
Yeah, I'm clutching at my neck. I've just been bit.
The vampires let you go because it's being seared by the red light on one side of its face. They're trying to get away into the shadows now.
I'm gonna scramble as best I can, because I'm knocked down, right? I'm on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to scramble as best I can back towards the rest of the group.
Okay. You are bleeding. You've just got a couple of points of damage from the blood. Eldridge. You're the farthest one away from where Dr. Dawkins is, and you see the red light, and one of the creatures is going to try and attack you, but it's like something punches it. It's the red light sort of hits it, and it rolls away instead, and you suddenly find yourself all alone. There's nothing there next to you, but the creatures are moving off into the darkness to points where you can't quite see where they've gone. So they're still going to pose a threat. They're just going to pose it. They're going to ambush as you try to make your way out of the cave, probably.
Well, I am going to rush over to Frank, because I'm guessing they've at this point they've dispersed.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to take my torch, I'm going to take my garlic, I'm going to rush over to Frank. I'm going to help him up. I'm going to see how deep it's punctured, if he actually got the two fangs. That's a problem.
It looks like he was bitten, yeah. It doesn't look like there was much of a chance for it to do anything.
Well, I'm going to keep my shifty little eye on Frank.
I think you have to suck the venom out.
That's what it is. I have to. I don't. This is strictly platonic. When I immediately go in for the neck.
I was only kidding. There's an old joke about that.
Oh, and then Eldridge looks to the ground because his feelings aren't reciprocated.
Okay. Elizabeth, what are you doing? This is all happening at the same moment. Elizabeth, what are you doing?
Well, there's an Eldrin, because I don't know what's going on in Dr. Dawkins' mind at the moment. I'm going to start edging towards Dr. Dawkins.
Okay.
Dr.
Dawkins.
The spare piece of the 3 pieces of garlic I've now got.
Dr. Dawkins standing there, holding his hand up with this red light, suddenly screams, a scream like you've rarely heard anybody ever scream, a scream of like he could rip apart the world at this point, because he hates everything so much. It's filled with total despair and absolute anger. Dr. Dawkins, go ahead and do a power roll. Can't hear you.
It's 58 out of 60.
Okay. If you choose to at this point, you can let go of the stone. The creatures have scattered. You have enough willpower to let go.
I will.
Okay. Dr. Elizabeth, as you're standing there looking at him, you see that he is letting go of the stone. What are you going to do?
I'm going to edge towards him, tentatively, holding out the piece of garlic for him.
Okay. So you're not going to try to catch it?
No.
All right.
No, it looks dangerous.
The stone falls from his hand, and it hits the ground with a clink. And it rolls a little, and then it's just lying there on the ground. And Dr. Dawkins completely collapses, as if he is exhausted, completely exhausted.
I'm going to tuck the piece of garlic into his breast pocket.
Okay. Dr. Dawkins, you can do a sanity roll and a constitution roll as well.
I pass my sanity and constitution. I don't pass my constitution though.
Okay.
86 out of 50.
You're going to do a couple points of damage to your sanity, and you immediately sort of drop to your knees and vomit because of the emotional release that you just went through.
Okay. How much sanity?
Just 2 points. Just 2 points.
Could I tuck the little piece of garlic that I used to rub on myself?
Uh-huh.
Can I tuck that away in the bag that's got the head in it while you vomit?
Sure.
After I finish vomiting, I'm going to take the handkerchief and cover the ruby, and I'll tuck that away into the bag. I don't know how it got into my pocket.
I think I need you to do a power roll on that one, because at this point you don't want to go near that damn thing.
Okay, well, if that's how I'm feeling, I'll have Dr. Elizabeth cover it up, and we can't leave that here.
Well, if you think that's safe,
well, cover it up. Like I'll hand you my handkerchief.
Okay, well, I'll do that very cautiously with the handkerchief. Actually, with the handkerchief folded double. Actually, because I'm a bit.
It definitely feels
very
warm.
Dangerous.
Feels hot.
Yeah.
You're not actually touching it though, so you're okay.
Okay.
It still glows a little red, but there's nothing in the room. None of the vampires are in the room any longer.
Okay, well, I'll wrap it up. If need be, I'll put my own handkerchief over the top of it.
Okay.
I'll make a little package out of it.
And then where are you going to put it?
Well, there's nowhere else to put it. I'll have to put it in my pocket. I don't have anywhere else.
Girls have pockets?
I'm wearing a lovely tweed suit.
It's true that you are. You do dress that way. All right.
With a skirt, admittedly, but it's got a proper jacket.
3 of Kristova's men have been killed. Kristova's been injured, and he's quite shaken. But he also looks very resolved. It's like, almost like, that was fun. Let's kill more of these horrible things. So what are you going to do now? You guys are still in that cave. And those things have gone down the passages, and
I'm going to slide across to Eldridge. Garlic and give it to Frank. I've given some of mine to Dr. Dawkins.
Okay.
It doesn't seem they just seem to dislike it. I don't think it matters how much you've got on you, as long as you've got some.
How many torches are there?
In here there's probably half a dozen torches around the room. It's a big room.
I say let's try to make our way back to the entrance, and everybody grab a torch.
All right.
Right. I'm also going to take a clove off and give it to Kristova.
Okay.
just so that he
And he's got
has one.
three men, so yeah. They all take low.
Oh yeah, and I guess yeah. Ooh, so we lost 3 people. Okay.
Kristova is, of course, he's upset about the 3 that he lost. But he's afraid, because of the folklore, that they might turn into vampires. And he really doesn't know what to do. If you go by the old legends, you have to cut their heads off. And he really doesn't want to do this. These were his friends.
I believe that.
Maybe take them out into the sun?
I kind of shake my head, say I think a nice shotgun blast to the head will do it.
But they seem to repair themselves. He still doesn't want. He looks at them and he's like, that's Piotr. He's got a wife and 3 children. That's, Ioannis, and what do I do? I can't just leave their bodies here.
I sigh and I say, have your men haul them over their shoulders.
Right. So we'll try to take them outside. Of course, it's probably not daylight any longer outside. All right. So you make your way down the passage. And there are, I'll just sum up and say there are at least 2 or 3 attempts by the vampires to get at you, but they're also quite terrified of you. And the Kristova says, as you reach finally the exit, and you see Rupert, he's like, what was all that noise? Nobody has come out, he said. As you get there, Kristova says, we're going to have to come back here and clean up this mess. But we know what we're dealing with. What's that, Mick? You broke up.
I said, burn them out.
Yes, fire will probably work. In any case, I think that now we know what the butchers actually were. I never expected they were something supernatural.
I don't know. I look at the frost-covered ground because it's February in the east, and I say something had to make them vampires, and there was that body that was by the crevice that slid the head into the hole. What do you think all that was about?
I don't know. I don't even know the significance of this, of the head. You said it's some sort of an idol.
And that's why I'm confused. Maybe the cultists were attacked and they hid the head from the thing that they were attacked by.
In any case, we have to. The thing is that there are still some of these cultists out there. I'm sure they weren't all here. I'm sure they have infiltrated many parts of our society, but I think this was their headquarters, and we have destroyed whatever it is they were doing here.
It should die down now that their idol has been taken.
Anyway, you guys all get back into your vehicles and you head back down the mountain unless there's something else you'd like to do.
A chance we can pick up more garlic, because now I'm paranoid that there's a master vampire.
You can do that when you get down. I mean, is there anything that you want to do while you're up here at the butcher's lair?
Don't we have a few grenades or something that we can chuck into the mouth of the cave?
I honestly doubt that you guys walk around with grenades.
No, I thought the lieutenant basically brought.
Oh, yes, he probably did. All right, shall we blow up the entrance to the cave?
I think that's a very good. At the very least, it will delay them.
That's exactly what they attempt to do. They try to blow it up, and you guys all. The effect is kind of interesting because they throw 5 or 6 grenades in there all at the same time, and everybody runs down behind the cars, and there's a few seconds go by, and then there's a tremendous boom, and all of the lights in that little town, that little village that's down the hill over there, all the lights in the village suddenly come on as everybody wonders what the hell that was. And the cave collapses.
Yeah, it might not stop them permanently, but at least they won't be feeding on the villagers anytime soon.
But I think that we will come back up here and we will make a more permanent end of them if we can.
Right.
So you drive back down the hill, and there's almost an air of happy satisfaction that you guys have stopped whatever it was that was going on here. We don't know, but you don't. Kristova has no idea, but it was obviously something bad. And but you drive more or less in silence, unless you want to talk, and you're heading back to Sofia. I can't hear. Mick?
I said, I'm not feeling very happy. I've just learned that vampires are real.
I think that my entire religion is now fake because the cross didn't work.
I've just been bitten by a vampire.
Yeah, I'm still Shifty Eye and Frank.
And I've got a splitting headache.
What is going on? What?
And my chest hurts. So pretty much, I don't know what these guys are doing, but I'm going to pass out.
Okay. You fall asleep on the way back. All right. As I recall, what did it take? About an hour and a half to get out here. So you arrive back in Sofia, let's say at 8:30. Kristova advises caution on any. You probably shouldn't say anything because I still think that there are cultists around.
That's I don't intend to say anything, but I would quietly like to ask someone at the hotel if they could send up a few cloves of garlic to my room.
People cook with garlic. There's plenty of garlic. So, yes. All right.
I use it for my beauty regime. It's nothing sinister.
Yes, you want to keep your beauty and not turn into a vampire.
Nosferatu. Yes. Keeps the Nosferatu away at night, doesn't it? Thank you very much.
All right. As it is, you've got garlic with you then, and you end up back up in your rooms, and you now have all the pieces of the Sedevkar simulacrum.
Oh dear.
I feel like this causes for celebration, but I'm in no mood to celebrate this.
Well, I mean,
when's our next train leaving?
What did I say? It's 8:30. 8:30. Sofia to Constantinople. You have a train leaving at 3:27 in the afternoon, one leaving at 11:27 p.m., and one leaving at 7:27 in the morning.
You said it's what, 8 o'clock now?
It's 8:30 at night. So the next train would be at 11:27 p.m., and the one following would be at 7:27 tomorrow morning.
I say let us pack up our things and head for the next train, and then we can relax a bit.
Couldn't agree with you more, Dr. Dawkins. Let's start packing.
All right. It's going to be a 19-hour trip.
Goodness.
That's a long trip.
Well,
Could
there's actually you're going from Sofia to Svilengrad to Adrianopolis to Sinaliki, and then finally Constantinople. But those are all short, meaningless stops.
We're still missing. We have all the pieces of the statue, but we still are missing the scrolls that accompany them.
Yes.
We have the one which is for, if I'm not mistaken, it's for the head, right?
Yes, you have to go for the head.
Have we translated that?
Yes, you have a translation. It was made by Mr. I forget his name, the guy who died in the Dreamlands, and it wasn't translated by him. He had it translated.
We only have half of the goal.
Yeah.
So we've missed all the scrolls.
What did the scroll say anything about anything? I would probably have to reread it. Jeff, do you still have that file?
Which one are you looking for?
The scroll for the head.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I can't remember. Do an idea roll. Jeff, Eldridge, do an idea roll. Because I think this has come up before.
Yeah, I vaguely remember. I think we were told the rest of the scrolls are in Constantinople.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I've got a 52, so I passed, so that's what it was.
Okay. Probably at the Topkapi Museum.
Okay.
Perfect.
Ah.
So we can celebrate, kind of.
Could I suggest that we try and get hold of enough garlic that we can put a clove of garlic in with each of the 6 pieces?
You think that they're all vampires?
Well, I'm just thinking that tonight, especially, we should take precautions for tonight, just in case. So, because if they're going to mount an attack on us, they do it tonight. But I think not necessarily vampires, but I think that now we have all 6 pieces, I think some form of attack is going to happen, because if we've been followed all this time by people who were using us to get all the pieces, we've now got all the pieces. And this is when they will make their move. But I'm still very much concerned that those... I'm not going to use the V word, but those things that were in the cave, whatever they may have been, may come after us again tonight. And if they do, it would be best if we rendered, at the very least, the pieces of the simulacrum off limits to them in the short term, just
right.
in case. Just in case.
I, however, am
And
still...
we're in Eastern Europe. No one's going to think twice if we're traveling with a clove of garlic in our luggage. It's to keep vampires away, obviously.
I'm still more concerned with the fact that it seems as if Professor Smythe has been following us. Somehow he has to know. Okay, somehow he has to know about our successes and our failures. He knows when we succeed or when we fail. So it was pointed out at our last stop that the wording seems like he's following us, that he himself is on a parallel journey.
But Are you sure? I mean, we still don't. I mean, we have questions about his honesty. Are you sure you want to let him know?
No, I'm concerned that when we show up in Constantinople, he will be there, or Beddoes will be there, and I do not believe that Smythe. I mean, I do. I think that Smythe may be involved, but it's less likely.
It could be that it might not be Smythe. It might be Beddoes.
It's I 100% think that Beddoes was involved in something. I honestly don't know if Beddoes was good to begin with. He may have been planted because.
But I mean, looking at the tactics of the skinless code, they're not that tactical when it comes to things like that. They don't necessarily plant.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, even if they do, it's not a quiet matter. It's not. They don't. It doesn't seem like they do it for the long game. They pretty much like take for instance the fellow who was on a train who's murdered the wait staff. I guess. Yeah, he was planted here, but then he ended up just stabbing a guy and hopping off the train. He wasn't subtle about it. It wasn't like he took the guy in the back and then slit his throat. He did it in front of everybody.
I leaned back in the chair because I imagine we're in the cart.
Actually, let me interject there. The man who was the spy, while he did stab the maitre d' as he was making his getaway, he did murder one of the staff and stash their body away and pretend to be them.
Exactly.
In order to. So they were planning on being on the train.
And the major even said that members of this cult have infiltrated the high-ranking members of the government.
Sure.
Like, you can't tell me, Dr. Dawkins.
It just seems like, I don't know. I mean, perhaps. I mean, I won't put it out of the picture, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like their MO.
I feel like this is all one big game, but they're pushing us in this direction. Why bring?
Used. I'd agree with that, definitely. Someone's manipulating us and has.
Well, if that's the case, then why are we falling into their trap? Why not divert our travels somewhere else? Perhaps go out on a ship somewhere and drop these statue pieces somewhere deep into the ocean.
Well, because the pieces are now connected to us. Eventually, they're gonna peel us off. They're gonna kill you. They're gonna chop my arm off. They're gonna give they're gonna give Frank a heart attack. They're gonna do all these things. I say that when we're in Constantinople, it's where these things were made. We figure out how we divert away from you go to the Black Mosque and put them there and destroy them there. We do research into other avenues. I say that we do the unexpected. They expect us to go to the Black Mosque, find the Black Mosque. I say that we do some more. We know that we're being played somehow. So I think that we should just divert ourselves away. I think that in Constantinople we will have the resources to figure out how to actually destroy these things.
You do realize that once we destroy these things, that we're probably going to die as well.
Well, I'm hoping that we can find a way to avert that. I don't want any of us to die, though.
Well, I think that it's too late. I mean, I think that these pieces are attached to us individually.
Well,
I mean, I don't think you were in the room at the time when we were doing our little experiment. But any harm that comes, any harm that comes to these pieces will be inflicted on us.
Wow. Which means the legs and the arms may be fine.
Did we try to put these things together now? I mean, I don't know if we need the scrolls in order to do that, but
we've tried to put the pieces before.
I mean,
but they've always resisted.
Yeah, that's because it wasn't complete.
Maybe
we could try.
Well, I'm also going to, since the subject of Smythe came up, I'm going to step in and say that I had to talk with Rupert, and I think I was on the fence before, but I think now I don't think Smythe is involved the way you're suggesting. I understand it, but I think Rupert explained to me a little bit further that Smythe saved Rupert and rescued him and helped him become who he is today. So
it may not be Smythe, but it could be Bellows.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's Bellows. I don't think I originally thought that Smythe was involved, and I may think that Smythe is involved, not Smythe, but someone posing as him. But Beddoes, I think, is an infiltrator. He's an insurgent. He is the one that started the fire. And he's the one that's been communicating with us and leading us to destination. I know that Smythe said, oh, you need to go here and you need to do this, but Beddoes has been the one communicating with us. Beddoes has been the one.
And if you think about it, the last time we seen Smythe, he was wrapped up in bandages. We didn't get an actual confirmation.
Exactly.
But at the time, we didn't know about how far this skinless coat would go and this, basically disguising themselves as other people. So
I do not think that Smythe is inherently evil. Or the person either posing as him or the person who is posing or is Beddoes is.
But don't they actually need the simulacrum in order to emulate someone like that?
I don't think so. They just put their face over. They just take the vocal cords. Or Beddoes could just have always been an insurgent.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to have known where Smythe is when we arrived in London. And it was almost a mere coincidence that a fire started.
But they've also seem to have known exactly where we are all the time without us keeping anyone appraised of our position. They've always seemed to know where we are. They've been with us every step of the way. There's been something happening.
Exactly. And don't I recall, Keeper, that when we were in London and we were at the fire, we said, how did it start? And they said it started inside the house. Right? It started in the living room.
He said that he and Beddoes were there, and there was a knock on the door. They answered the door, and these Turks were there, and they wanted in. They wanted, anyways, they did things that were untrustworthy, and Beddoes tried to blockade the door. They broke down the door. They captured Smythe and Beddoes and tortured them. And in the process, they lit the house on fire. It was an accident, more or less. But Smythe was actually quite pleased because anything that might be in his house that they could have used was destroyed, any kind of papers or documentation. Unfortunately, he and Beddoes were both burned in the process, and he says Beddoes saved him and got his hands burned and everything. When you saw Smythe, although it had some bandages on, his face wasn't bandaged. It was burned. All of his facial hair was, of course, gone. And it was pretty gruesome. And he seemed to be in extreme pain.
somehow they've known where we are at all times.
Who?
And the skinless cult. Either they haven't tried to interact with us, or they've been getting into our luggage. Like they've been with us every step of the way.
They were getting into our luggage to check our progress.
Exactly. How? How do they know all of this?
I'm not going to disagree with you at all, but I'm also going to throw out that we've seen some really weird stuff. And maybe there's magic involved here. Maybe it's just not someone spying on us, but like we're carrying around these occult artifacts that somehow are connected to forces that we don't even comprehend yet.
Their cult is intrinsically linked to these objects. We could easily assume from that their magic is intrinsically linked to these objects, and they have some way of knowing where these objects are. And wherever they were, if they were hidden away, as many of them were, if we've then discovered them and brought them out into the world away from where they were hidden, we could well have made them visible to the cult.
Maybe.
I mean, like, look at what happened to that ruby in Dr. Dawkins' pocket. It radiated heat and emitted light, like a giant signal. So maybe we're just carrying these occult signals around with us, saying, here we are.
How do we know that they don't have a scroll, for example, that, I mean, we know the head scroll. In the head scroll, Sedevkar prophesied that he would lose the simulacrum. How do we know they don't have another scroll that has predicted, has prophesized every step of this journey that we've taken?
Mm-hmm.
That
might
up
be how they're one step ahead of us. I mean, there's any number of ways. I'm not necessarily sure that Professor Smythe is the weak link here. I think we could be simply dealing with forces that we don't understand.
That brings me to my final note in my notebook here, my final question. If the simulacrum is the ultimate thing they need, why haven't they been actively looking for it? Us four have managed to find each piece, or pretty much stumble upon a few of them. How is it that they didn't find it? Are they even looking for them?
Perhaps there's some mechanism that prevented them from finding the pieces. Something which doesn't affect us.
Oh,
Perhaps they're simply lazy and they've decided to sit back and let us do all the hard work.
Just confuses. It's like we have a puzzle and we're missing pieces in the middle. We have all the edge piece, but we don't have the middle pieces. And and to me it seems obvious. It seems like there's just one thing that we're missing, and that all this makes sense, but I can't possibly think of it. And I've been racking my brain. It's the chickens.
Did I mention my sanity is 33? It's the chickens.
Wow. So you actually believe it's the chickens at this point?
I am very, very close to actually believing it's the chickens.
All right, so to the not insane people in the room, can any of you think of anything? Because, like I said, is it just me? Is this just a me feeling that there's this thing that we're missing and everything would make sense? It's this really obvious thing that we're just not thinking of.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. But are we currently out in the I guess passenger car where are there other people around?
You're in the hotel.
I thought we hopped on the train.
No, you were planning on doing that, but you haven't left. You've been in the hotel all this time.
Oh, okay. Never mind. My mind was on a train, but okay, we're still in a hotel. How about we bring the pieces together and see if we can put them together? I'll lay out the torso maybe on a bed or something like that, and we can place each part where where it's supposed to go. To see if it will come together.
Dr. Dawkins, a thought. You use the knife, the dagger, to cut into it. But doesn't the knife also attach things?
Yeah, let me try that.
All right, so yeah, I'll go grab my piece. I don't know about you guys. Here's my piece, and I put it on the bed.
Well, I'll go and get the right arm then if we're going to do that.
I'll get my piece. And doctor, if you have a chance to look at my neck.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So, Tom, I think we're going to try and attach the pieces now.
Okay. I am going to send you some secret messages.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I will attend to Alfred's neck. How bad is the wound?
Easily fixable.
Okay.
As is, at this point, Rupert's eye is also fixable.
All right, I'll go to work.
And I shall start sending you guys secret messages. Sorry to the audience that you don't get to see these. Now that I think of it, I should have prepared them beforehand.
What's that
Oh.
you say? Penry, the mild-mannered janitor? No, he couldn't be. Surely not. Mind you, I have never seen them in the same room together. Now it makes so much sense. And they are both anthropomorphized talking dogs.
Jeff, remind me, it's 2/.
/2 space and then the name, first couple letters.
/2 space and then the name.
Do a test maybe.
All right, I'm going to do one test and then I'm going to start.
Has anybody seen South Park?
Not for a long time.
Yes.
Is anyone familiar with the character Tweak?
Yes.
Yes.
That's kind of how I'm picturing Frank right now.
Just he needs
Jumping at
coffee.
everything.
A little twitchy, a little jumps at the slightest little noise.
You better not start talking about underpants gnomes.
Butters is my favorite. It's Butters.
Of course, Butters is your favorite, Tom.
Elder sign. When you come into the room with your pieces respectively and you lay them on the bed, and you're setting them down, this is what I'm explaining to you.
It's at times like this, when action in the game takes a lull for a moment, that I like to enjoy a delicious meal of pemmican. Pemmican.
I was thinking about that yesterday for some reason. Let me put my heart of hatred away. All right. So as each of you lays that down, nothing really happens visibly.
Are we really sure we want to do this?
Are we sure we'd even know how to do it?
I now look at Tom, not Tom, Frank, and I say, Yes, it seems that my judgment has become a little unhinged, and I kind of step back. I don't really think we should be doing this.
I mean, let's not forget what we read in those books. That, I mean, whatever the attraction of this object, and it certainly has much to commend it. We must remember that it is intrinsically evil. I mean, the things it's linked to, torturing and flaying and skinning human beings. I mean, it's this thing is evil. We really must steel ourselves against it. I don't think that now that we've got all the pieces here together, I don't think this is a good idea at all. I know it seems, in many ways, it seems like it could be a very good idea. Things will become a lot worse for us if we did something like that.
I was even thinking of just the mere practicality of it. Like, what if there was talk of like the pieces were somehow like magnetically repelling each other, but what if now they attract and now we put it together and then we can't get them apart again?
Well, it doesn't seem that that's the case. There doesn't really seem to be any, because you've got them all laying on a bed.
Okay.
They don't seem to repel one another the way they did before, but they still seem to be solid, and they don't come together.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean.
There is some mechanism by which one wears the simulacrum. That's how you assemble it together, but I think that requires some kind of magic, some kind of ritual, which we don't currently possess, and undoubtedly the cult does.
What happens?
I'm gonna try something. I mean, if these pieces aren't fitting together, we need to put these pieces together in order to destroy it, apparently. So what I'll do is I'll try it on my two pieces so nobody else gets affected. I'll take the head and the torso, and I'll use the knife to see if I can somehow meld these together, sort of stitch them together, more or less.
You don't seem to be able to figure out how, but if at any time you put any kind of pressure on the knife and the simulacrum, you receive a wound wherever you have done this. There doesn't seem to be any way around that.
Okay.
What if the simulacrum is... This is just me speculating. What if it's like it's a vessel, okay? You put it together, and it's got the form of a person, and something enters it, and then somehow it can then wear you. Maybe it's all like metaphor.
You mean like it attaches itself to you rather than... Well, I mean, it's the pieces are lying on the bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll lie right next to it to see if it does anything.
Nothing.
If, as it says in the scroll, it was made in Sedevkar's image. And we discussed before, didn't we, that it could be that all these people, possibly as far back as Tullius Corvus, may have been the same person or the same thing occupying different people. What if it only works for that person?
My eyes kind of widen because you said something that's kind of like triggered my brain. The Sedevkar was built in Sedevkar's image. But when you look at it, it takes your image.
But that's what it does, isn't it? It takes people's images.
But what if Sedevkar isn't a person? What if it's this thing that can take many shapes? Which is why it can be. It's not a person. It's not this immortal being. It's a thing.
A thing
that wears many faces.
Yes, wears people's skins.
Because it was made in his image, and the image keeps changing.
The skinless one.
I think that the skinless one and Sedevkar are the same person or thing or whatever.
But in the I imagine he did Diablo. Diaboli. He was worshipping something. This thing at the altar made of human skins. He was worshipping something. Or appeared to be worshipping, or maybe that was the ritual that established it.
I'm currently looking at the head scroll as you guys are talking. And I'm going to read this out loud. It woke when I flayed alive the wretch who sought to steal my treasure from me. That night he, capital H, he, came to me for the first time and told me what to do. I meditated before its glory, all praise to the one without skin. I performed the 17 devotions and opened it for the first time. Within the artifact was soft and smooth. As I ran my hand across its inner surface, it felt like the skin of a newborn babe. I offered 4 children as sacrifice to my master. Then I used it for the first time. In his wisdom, the Lord of naked flesh had made it to my height. In all modesty, I believe it was made in my image. Blessed is the chosen of the skinless one. I have been careful to keep it untarnished. The substance is the color of purity and should not be tainted by that which is unclean. So there are apparently 17 devotions, and we're going to have to perform human sacrifices if we want to wear this. At least that's what I'm understanding.
I would assume as well that those 17 devotions are contained in the other 4 scrolls.
And I'm going to assume that essentially a chosen one can wear it. What if Dr. Elizabeth is right and one of us is this proclaimed next chosen one? Simply by coincidence alone.
Would we not know that? Surely there would be some indication. Would they be? Well, maybe that would explain why they haven't done us in yet.
I think that explains why they haven't done us in and why they may be following us. One of us may end up wearing this.
The scroll on the right hand, a ritual which awoke the statue and is the driving force of Sedevkar's power. What if the chosen one is just the person who does all these things, like completes the devotions, completes the sacrifices?
Maybe.
What if he was just
I can tell you.
statistical?
I'm going to tell you now that I am certainly not going to be going anywhere near magic. Magic is impure, magic is dangerous, and the fact that Dr. Dawkins has been using the dagger appalls me. So, we will not be sacrificing.
I've only used the dagger to help people. Think about it. So far, I healed a man who had severe brain damage. I protected us from those vampires.
I think it's like a swinging door.
I haven't I haven't used the dagger for evil. I've only used it to help.
I'm not saying that the dagger.
And I've only used it sparingly.
I think that the dagger can do bad, and I'm not saying that you will do it, but I'm saying the dagger will. Magic always corrupts.
Well, you could say that about any tool. A knife could be used to help. I mean, you can use a knife for cooking. You can use it to help defend somebody who's in danger. Or you could be the one wielding it, causing the danger. It's just a tool. We carry guns. We carry guns around. Guns are dangerous. Is a gun evil? No, it's just a tool. It's the person
you don't have to. You don't have to sacrifice 4 children to get a gun to fire, though, do you?
I'm sorry. Say that again, Doctor.
You don't have to sacrifice 4 children to get a gun to work.
Isn't that how they did it?
This thing demands human sacrifice. I'm sure that metaphysically, philosophically, you could argue that the gun, human sacrifice, is innately bound to the whole concept of guns. But I mean, we in a very real way, you actually have to kill and flay human beings to get this thing to work.
Oh, Nick, simulacrum? Yes, of course. Nick, I'm not arguing about that. I'm talking about this medical instrument that I have.
They were made by the same people, I feel. And that can only lead to trouble. I'm not going to stop you, but I certainly will not be using it. Save a life or no life. There's a balance in the world, and by upsetting that balance, things will come back.
But think about it this way: the men who caused that, that particular person in the museum to have such an injury, that was unnatural. The things that they were doing were unnatural. I just tipped the scales back into the balance of life rather than death. Is there anything wrong with that? Using a medical instrument. This is no different than a scalpel, except this works better.
I shake my head and I lean back in my seat. That's all I do. And
I understand your concern, Eldridge. I understand. I'm not arguing with you or anything like that. I'm just letting you know that I'm not planning to use this thing for any evil. I've been using this. I mean, it's a tool that can help. This is something that, our current state in medical practices, we don't have tools like this. And I mean, how many lives could we save?
I'm not debating the usefulness of these things. I can see that there's an enormous possibility both with the knife and the things that we could learn from any of this, and this.
There's a knock on your door.
And I immediately put my hands to my ears and look north.
Let's cover the pieces up quickly with a blanket.
Well, we can put them away. We have our chests in here that we.
Oh yes. Let's
just put them away.
One moment, please.
Housekeeping.
I'll go see who's at the door. I approach the door and I'm going to open it a crack.
Oh, wait! Before you go, I'm like, here, take this tool, and I hand you your gun.
And I make an immediate frown, and I approach the door. I unlock it, and I open it, a crack so I can see who's there.
I am going to make an assumption, because you guys have spent a lot of time talking, that your intention was to leave on the 11:30 train.
Yes.
So the person at the door is one of the stewards, and they say, your reservations on the night train for leaving for Constantinople are confirmed, and we can take your luggage anytime.
All right.
And transfer it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually not a This happens every time you've gone.
Okay.
I'm
in paranoia overdrive now.
Can I asked the steward, is it possible for us to take some of the luggage ourselves?
If Sir wishes, of course.
I smile and I say, thank you very much. I close the door. And I immediately approach, and I wag my finger, and I say, that may be how they're knowing which bags are ours.
You think they may have infiltrated the whole train?
I think so. There was one already on board.
A risk of becoming completely paranoid. They could be absolutely anyone we are or are going to encounter.
I think that.
So in this case, I'm not sure speculation really helps us, other than to increase our paranoia.
I nod and I kind of bite my thumb because I'm slowly going paranoid over just about everything.
I think we all
are. And I continually keep looking north, and I'm scratching at my neck.
It's 10 o'clock. Got about an hour and a half to get everything together and to go.
What's north? What are you looking at?
I look at Frank and I smile and I say, I'm not really sure, but I thought I heard something. And I just kind of shake my head.
Heard something? What sort of something?
A trumpet, like a big horn.
Did anyone else hear this? I'm asking Dr. Keith, Dr. Dawkins.
No, I didn't hear it.
Did it sound like a automobile passing by?
No. It sounds like a wind. It sounds like a horn in the wind.
Like a seal has been broken?
Maybe.
Eldritch, you're too religious. But you're hearing things now.
And I sit down and I continue looking north.
Well, if we have a train to catch, we better start packing.
Yes, we should.
Yep, let's get going.
I think I'd feel a lot safer once we're on the train. Maybe.
Okay. So, any kind of prep? Just generalized preparations.
Well, I think at this point we've moved on enough that we've. I'm assuming we've all got into a sort of a bit of a rhythm for packing up the night before we get back on the train. And
okay. So shall we say then that you've eaten, you've put together your stuff. The stewards are going to come and take whatever you don't want to take with yourselves. I assume you're being cautious with the simulacrum.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely putting some garlic in with my bit as well.
So about a half an hour before the train leaves, you arrive at the station.
Can I confirm real quick? Dr. Dawkins, did you heal me from the...
Yeah, that's why he said it wasn't that bad.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you cure Rupert's eye?
Well, he doesn't really have an eye.
We still have that spare though, don't we?
Do you? Yeah.
And now that it's been some time, I don't know, medically speaking.
Let's go ahead and let me roll. Yeah, 23. Yeah, okay. You repair his eye.
He has two color eyes.
It's a different color, yeah, and it's kind of bloodshot because of.
But that will heal over time.
And he says that it's a little blurry, but it'll probably clear up.
You can wear a monocle. You'll be classy.
All right. Yeah, that would assume that the eye actually was a good eye, wouldn't it? If the guy was half blind in that eye, it wouldn't do much good. All right, so you guys get on board the train. You once again all have cabins next to each other, but there's two of you in each cabin. And at 11, what time was it exactly? The train leaves at 11:27 p.m. The train pulls out, heading towards a few little towns. Svilengrad. You will arrive at Svilengrad at 5:47 in the afternoon. So it's a long way to Svilengrad. It's a 19-hour trip to Constantinople from here. Probably not in reality, but that's in the game. All right.
Well, I'm festooning my cabin with garlic.
Now it's very nearly midnight by the time you guys are settled in. What would you like to do? It is a late train, so they are actually serving food if you want it.
I can do with a stiff drink.
My head is killing me, and my chest is also bothering me as well. I'm going to turn in for the night.
Okay.
I think I'm in the same boat. I'm just mentally and physically
exhausted.
Tired, and
all right.
I want to get a good night's sleep.
I'm going to take a big slug from my flask and retire to bed.
Okay. Eldridge, you're probably exhausted too.
Yes, but I'm going to get myself a little bit sleepier with a secret flask.
Okay. All right. Let's assume you all fall asleep. I want you guys to be able to do a sanity adder. You've accomplished a lot. Do a 1d4 and add it to your sanity.
Oh, nice.
Hooray, 1. I'll take it.
Around 3:30 in the morning, you find yourself having nightmarish sort of dreams, and all four of you, all 5 of you, wake up sweating. The horrors that you've seen over the last few days have been horrific. Horrors tend to be horrific. And you find it very difficult to just lay there and sleep. You keep thinking about the simulacrum. You keep thinking about all of the stuff that you just discussed. And you're restless. You're very restless. You can, of course, attempt to try to go back to sleep, but you probably won't succeed. Or you can do whatever you want.
Well, if I can't get back to sleep, I'll go to the lounge area and get a pot of tea and maybe a early breakfast or something.
Okay.
Try to eat something.
Dr. Dawkins, as you leave your cabin and go, the rest of you can hear Dr. Dawkins leaving his cabin. You can hear his door open up and you can hear his footsteps.
I'll actually bring I'll bring a bottle of aspirin with me as well, because Yeah.
Okay. Frank, you were saying something?
I'm just like torn. I'm like, what is he up to? And at the same time, I just want to lay here in bed under the covers. And I think the bed's going to win out.
Okay. Eldridge?
I'm thinking I'm going to get drunk and just go to sleep.
Okay.
Just glug, 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 and then pass out.
And Elizabeth?
Well, I'm going to just have another drink of brandy and try and get back to sleep. I've got my curlers in. I'm not really in any fit state to leave my cabin at the moment.
Okay. Right about 4 o'clock, those of you who are in your cabins, you hear a loud and rather violent thumpity thump coming through the walls. It's there only for a minute, but then it's gone. As if somebody fell over or knocked something over or something. It was a
Where is this coming from precisely?
Through the walls, maybe from another cabin in your area.
Would it be Dr. Dawkins' cabin?
No.
Semi-drunkenly, I get up and I open the door to my cabin to try and seek out the source of the sound.
Okay. Well, it was only there for a couple of seconds, and it's gone.
I'm going to begin searching down the hallway. I'm going to find that sound. It woke me up.
Okay. Well, whose door do you go to first?
I'm going to bang on Frank's door.
Okay. Frank, bang, bang, bang.
What?
Did you hear a noise?
I did.
Open up.
I opened the door.
And I stumble inside and I push by Frank. And I go, did it come from in here?
No. Where's your piece? Is your piece safe?
I don't know. and I'm now looking around the room.
Dr. Elizabeth, anything?
I think I'm going to open my door a little and peer out to see if anything's going on in the hall.
Well, you see the two of them there.
What's happened?
I don't know.
Everyone should check their pieces. Make sure they're safe.
I sigh and I go back to my room and check my piece.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Where's Dawkins?
You knock on his door and he's not there.
Do you think he might have had a fall or something?
Let's hope not. I roll my eyes. And I'm walking in the direction I think he may have gone. That may be the complete wrong direction.
Well, you know which direction the lounge is. So you're heading to the lounge.
Yes.
What are the other two doing?
Can I open his door or is it locked?
It's not locked. Actually, it is locked. He would have locked it.
He would have probably locked it.
Yeah.
I'll bang harder. Maybe he's sleeping.
Yep. No response from
Okay.
his door.
Yeah, go find him in the lounge and get him back here and check his piece.
No problem, boss. It's the most emotion that you've ever seen of Eldridge ever. And it has become obvious that he had just gone to sleep drunk and now he is still drunk.
I don't really remember Eldridge drinking before.
He did it on the sly after the ice pick incident.
Okay.
He got a flash from Rupert.
Eldridge, I thought you left to go check the lounge.
I was walking down, and he said go check it, and now it's just Thomas and Jeff.
Okay. So are you going to go check?
Oh yeah.
All right. You're going to go down and you're going to find Dr. Dawkins sitting in a chair trying to read a book. What else?
I'm on my
If he's just sitting there.
I'm on my third pot of tea now.
Okay. Well, we know that you're in the lounge with Eldridge, Dr. Elizabeth, and Frank.
I kind of shrug my shoulders and say, "Should we look down the other direction?"
Yes, I'm not moving beyond just sort of peer to the hole.
Do an idea roll.
Both of us?
Yeah.
Yes, got an 8. 8 out of 80.
I got a 5.
You both got really good rolls. I'm really, really sorry, Simon, but nobody seems to realize that you're not there. Rupert's not there in the hallway.
Man.
Oh, I should. I'm loath to knock on a gentleman's door in the middle of the night, but I suppose I should.
Well, I'm that loath. I don't even know what it means. I'm banging on the door.
I'm not going to do a knock. I was going to knock on something then to simulate knocking, but if I do that, my dog is going to go nuts.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it.
You knock on his door and there is no answer.
Is it locked?
Seems to be.
Rupert, I say, Rupert, are you all right in there? He might have gone. He might have gone for a drink.
How do we get it stored, or should we just break it in? I'm gonna break it in.
No. Let's just wait for a. Let's find a steward. We don't want to.
Then you hear an echo. Break it in. Break it in. We've come too far.
He could just be in the bar. We don't want to.
Well, what do you want to do?
Well, after what happened yesterday, we might just be getting paranoid. He could just be sleeping heavily. He's been through a lot. He's lost an eye. He's, it's been very trying for him. He might just be sleeping it off. But it is
really bang on the door after she says that.
Yes, that's a good idea. Try and wake him up.
Yeah.
No answer.
I look at Dr. Keith again, like,
right, I'm going to go and get a steward. Keep an eye on my room.
Okay.
I'm going to shuffle off in my dressing gown and curlers and hairnet.
Okay.
Is it one of those things where, like, the sliding doors from cabin to cabin?
Yes, but there is a latch lock. Yeah, the doors slide.
So as soon as the door closes, I'm going to try to break the door.
Okay. Go ahead and do a strength roll.
I'm not very strong, mind you.
Neither is the door.
Oh, 51. My strength is 50.
You want to do a select roll?
Yeah.
Or luck point?
Sure.
All right. You put considerable pressure on it, and you hear the wood crack, and the door slides open, and Rupert's room is a mess, and the window is open, and it's very cold in the room, and there's no Rupert.
What about his piece?
His piece is still where he left it. I guess it's in a trunk or something.
That's how I was picturing it in my head. We had our trunks under our beds or something like that, maybe.
Right.
Okay. Well, so now I'm feeling guilty for breaking the door down because maybe he really is in the lounge. But at the same time, I keep thinking that all of our problems before always happens through the windows. So can I go to the window and stick my head up?
Sure. It's like 40 below zero with the wind factor, and it's the countryside, the Bulgarian countryside. It's dark. It's early in the morning, but you don't see anything.
Okay, I'll pull my head back in and close the window.
Okay.
Have I found a steward yet?
Yes. Yes. In fact, you can see Eldridge, and you can see Dawkins in the lounge. There's a steward right there. Yes. Can I do something for you?
Yes, I think something might happen to my friend.
Oh, let's go. Yes, show me.
Do we overhear this, Tom?
Yeah.
I say,
I'll gesture to them. Come, quick.
What's happened? And
Rupert. Something's happened to Rupert.
Rupert, and I just drunkenly charge down the hallway.
Actually, you don't know that something's happened to Rupert. You just know that he's not here in the lounge.
Well,
okay.
All I know,
I know there's something's happened to him. He's not answering the door. I think he's passed out or something. But
I'm just charging.
All right.
I don't yet know the door has been broken down.
The four of you,
Or I wouldn't be getting the steward if I knew that.
Steward included. You walk down to the to where the door is now open, and Frank is inside.
I fixed it.
Where is he? Where's Rupert?
I don't know. He wasn't here when I thought he was with you down in the lounge. Window.
It appears our friend is missing. The window's open. You don't think he could have fallen out of the window?
Well, the window's not open now.
Yeah.
Oh.
He closed.
It was open.
Yeah, it definitely feels cold.
The window's big enough that a human being could fall out of the windows.
They'd have to climb.
Oh.
I whisper to myself, enough for at least Dr. Keith, who I imagine I'm standing by, would hear. I say, the eye.
Well, let's not. The steward says, perhaps your friend has just gone for a stroll. Let's not cause a panic. Let's just search and see if we can find him.
Yes, of course.
But look at his room. It's been tossed.
It looks to you like there was a struggle.
I once again say the eye. And this time louder.
The eye?
I look at you, Frank, and I say, we never got the one that had Rupert's.
No, because his head got bit off.
I shake my head. I say they knew. And I immediately, kind of not sober up, but I just walk away. I go into my room and I slam the door shut.
Well, let's just search for your friend.
Yes. I'll start searching. I'm just going to go to my room and put on something more suitable.
Okay. All right. I think that's probably where we should end it. It's a good spot. Okay.
Oh, Rupert, what have you done?
All right. So our players included Thomas McKeon, Mick Swan, Jeff Wilkins, Wayne Worthy, and myself as the Keeper of the Secrets. We're currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. Patrons of our show can now enjoy some recordings of our pre- and post-game conversations, some of the funniest stuff we say before and after the show. If you'd like to become a patron, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month will help us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We love hearing from you. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.